The picture I was going to do in Kenya didn't occur. So I was a bit of a loss, and I got this call from Dennis O'Dell, to see if I could come and do a few extra days on this film they were making with the Beatles. I thought, oh, Beatles, I don't know, but yeah, I'll do it. It's a few days' work. But it went on, virtually for the whole film after that, because they'd been at it about a week by then.
Hello, here he is, the middle-aged boy wonder.
They found that the Beatles couldn't do the same thing twice, and they realised the only way to get closer at the same time as the long shot was to put a second camera in, sort of tighter, and sort of shoot it that way, which is what television have been doing for years.
It's all your fault. What? Getting invites to gambling clubs and all that. He's probably in the middle of some orgy by now. Orgy? Orgy!
You've got perfect continuity. Sometimes they have to cut round continuity, which is the hell of a thing, because somebody hasn't done the same thing twice, they've got to cut away, or they've got to think, well, can we get away with it? But, with the moves matching exactly, it's perfect, Several of the shots, not all the time. Obviously, in the train, it was very difficult to put a second camera in. Yeah, but, in those sort of close quarters. But in the sort of bigger sets and everything, we started using second camera. But in actual fact, it led to Dick Lester using that technique on all his films after that, because he realised it was a time saver apart from anything else. Dick Lester said, you've got to get stuff when they're playing these numbers. It was the numbers that we featured, and he said, I want something different. So get a couple of those new 10-to-1 zoom lenses, and he said, just do what you think, as the numbers are being played. We'll be doing a long shot, but and so it gave us total freedom, because you've got to remember that in those days there was no video assist or anything like that, which lets him see what you're getting. You were the director's eyes, you were doing it, and nobody else saw it until tomorrow. To be left to your own sort of devices and get really good stuff, it was terrific, because everything was different, and you just kept thinking of new things to do, and sort of tilt up to a great big head like that, and start on the foot and tilt up to a drumstick, and then sort of focus through to somebody else playing a guitar. You just made it up as you went along. It was terrific. We established a style that's still used today when they photograph pop groups.
Well, why don't we do the show right here? Yeah! 2, 3, 4.
Didn't quite like the music, I've got to be honest, because it wasn't my scene. I was a Glenn Miller man, that sort of thing. And suddenly you're introduced to this stuff, and you've got to be with it. It was hard on the eardrums. That's the only way I can put it. It wasn't what I was used to. For some reason or other, I think the first thing I got into with the film was the concert. It's so long ago that I can't remember which way around it was. But anyway, I just had an amalgam filling put in the tooth, it suddenly, with a screaming noise, it started to ache, and it was driving me mad. I took a bottle of aspirin almost, because still got to carry on shooting. And I went to the dentist. I phoned the dentist and went to him, and I said, it's just bad. He said, well, nothing wrong with the tooth. And I said, well, there is. I said, because it's aching. I said, take it out. I said, I'll do without it. And he took it out, but he reckoned that it was to do with vibration and frequency, something to do with the amalgam, vibrating inside your mouth, because it was so heavily amplified. I think that's what was so different to a big swing band or something like that, or a symphony orchestra. They didn't need the microphones, because they had but they had to have the amplification to get it across, and it was a bit off-putting, really. But when you listen to the lyrics and things like that, you realise it was just a bit more than people just training guitars. There was something in these lads. Then you fell in with it. You got with them. Yeah. So I did. I did appreciate what they were doing.